Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Yeah. How you doing? Welcome to another gorgeous spring day. Beautiful day, Tuesday, April 3, 2012. Primary day in my home state of Wisconsin, which is supposed to be the end pretty much for Rick Santorum, but we shall see. Joining us, because it's Tuesday, is my sister Susan in St. Louis. Hi, Suze.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
That's good. Okay, shall we start out immediately with outrage or back into it?
No, I feel free to be outraged.
Okay. I am outraged by the Supreme Court decision.
Oh, you don't like being strip searched for traffic fines?
No.
That you've already paid?
No. Or for, I mean, here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get. This was, as usual, a 5-4 decision. I thought conservatives didn't want government intruding. What is it with them that they don't mind government poking into our body cavities? What the hell is with them?
They're creepy. They're really creepy. If it has to do with naked or poking, they're for it. Or looking or peering into Americans' assholes.
Listen to this. Here's Justice Kennedy, who I remind you we are hanging our hopes on for the health care law. Justice Kennedy writing the decision. Every detainee, and ladies and gentlemen, that could be you or me. Every detainee who will be admitted to the general population may be required to undergo a close visual inspection while undressed. Now, you know what I'm thinking? Kennedy wrote that, but never in his wildest dreams could he imagine himself or anyone he knows or loves or cares about being subjected to it. Because if he thought about it for a minute, he couldn't have found. What is the Fourth Amendment for? I thought we have a Fourth Amendment, the Founding Fathers, unreasonable search. What do you think the Founding Fathers would think about squat, spread your cheeks? Because, you didn't have your dog on a leash.
Well, you'd have to be jailed. This is narrow in the sense that it's only if you've gotten to the point where they're throwing you in jail.
Okay, but depending on the jurisdiction, there are lots of where
you can get thrown in jail for nothing. I agree.
A cop having a bad day can, and they said, it could be for anything. It could be for anything.
That's right. Because, how can they decide whether it's appropriate or not?
So
they have to do it for all. It's more don't critically think.
Listen,
it's not safe.
Let me tell you some of the people who have been strip searched and their crimes. Justice Breyer, in his dissent, wrote about this. One person was strip searched because they were driving with a noisy muffler. Another person was strip searched for failing to use a turn signal. Well, I'm all for that. Another was strip searched for riding a bicycle without an audible bell.
What?
A nun was strip searched for being part of some demonstration. Women who'd been sexually assaulted were strip searched. Women who are menstruating, strip searched. And when I said violating a leash law, yes, strip searched.
You know, how do women who want to, there's all sorts of cases of women being molested by police. How do they protect themselves in this situation? Why do we assume, against all evidence, that there are some portion of the police population and of the jail security population that will abuse this? And why do they have more rights than the American citizen?
Yeah, and let's talk about what's the bigger what's the bigger threat? Allowing the government to pretty much strip search out.
No one's smuggling a gun in their,
exactly.
anus.
Exactly. What is it that people are sticking up their? I believe Kennedy referred to it as rectal cavity. What are they putting up there that could serve as some horrible? The drugs. Okay, fine. For this and the percentage of arrestees or detainees who do have something somewhere in some orifice is minimal. It's 1% or something. And for that 1% to find that one baggie of Coke or something, all Americans should be subject to being strip searched. I mean, where's their sense of proportion and importance? Where do they tell us all the terrible things that have happened because somehow somebody has managed to get into jail with fill in the blank with something, and something resulted that caused the death of somebody or something? Was there one story of such an event? What is it about these conservatives about why do they favor the intrusion of government when I thought they're against it? I'm so mixed up. And then I thought, you know what? They don't mind government doing something to you that is creepy, as you say, or objectionable, or very personal. What they can't stand is government giving you something. They can't. That they think is an outrage. Government giving you health care. That gets them apoplectic. But government stripping you naked and peering into all of your orifices, that somehow does not violate the Fourth Amendment.
Well, if they want us to hate government, it's a good way to get us to do it.
I'm just... And what are their big arguments?
I mean,
Susan,
the court is... There's nothing to say that legislatures can't say, no, this is not the way we do things here. And we do not strip search.
Let me tell you who doesn't strip search. Almost every civilized nation in the world would not agree to this. All international human rights organizations ban this procedure. This law, the ruling yesterday is against the law of 10 states.
Well,
against
it
policies of federal.
It presumes on its face falsely that everybody that's in a jail is guilty.
And
when in fact, there are clearly people there that are not, who are awaiting trial. So it treats them as in a humiliating fashion, as if they are already guilty. It's really
here. And the thing is, their reasoning strikes me as so paltry. Kennedy again in his what do you call that?
His
decision. His opinion. Noted.
His ruling.
Noted that Timothy McVeigh was first arrested for driving without a license plate.
Well, what does that have to do with...
You tell me, what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? And was he strip searched, and did he have something up his butt? No! What does that have to do with anything? I guess what he's saying is, even somebody who has not an audible bell on their bicycle could be a terrorist.
That's
and
right.
In fact...
It's saying, you're probably far worse than any of your behavior indicates.
Yeah.
We're going to presume that.
And here's
the wrong end of anything can that be?
Here's another. He came up with another one, too, unless Timothy McVeigh didn't sway you. One of the terrorists involved in the September 11 attacks was stopped and ticketed for speeding just 2 days before hijacking Flight 93.
So,
yes,
we're supposed to jail everybody that gets a speeding ticket in case they're going to...
Well, what did that... So what? So what? What is he saying? Everybody the police take into custody is a terrorist?
Potential terrorist.
And
so we're going to treat them all the same way, as if they're potential terrorists.
And let us note that the fact that the terrorist was picked up for speeding 2 days before 9/11 didn't prevent 9/11. In fact, they let him go. I guess using his thinking, that guy, if you are detained for a speeding ticket, you should be detained, strip searched, and held for about 2 to 3 weeks to make sure you're not about to hijack an airplane. What the hell is he talking about? This court is an affliction. An affliction. Jesus, God, what next? This court doesn't mind them spying in your bedroom windows, seeing what kind of sex you're having. This court wants to have something to say about who you have sex with, how you have sex, who you marry. This court wants to, they are creepy.
No, they're creepy.
And these are the freedom-loving conservatives. You can have as many guns as you want because that's freedom. I'm so... Okay, so that's what freaked me out. Just freaked me out. Your Supreme Court has voted that officials may strip search anyone arrested for any offense, however minor, before admitting them to a jail, even if, listen to this, even if they have no reason to suspect the presence of contraband.
Right, because that's a great American legal principle. No probable cause.
None. But they just are having a hankering to look up someone's butt.
They just want to see you naked.
And let us recall that this came from a case of a man who had done nothing. Nothing.
Who they goofed.
Who they took into custody because they were wrong, not him, who was twice subjected to strip search. And the judges, I just thought this is a slam dunk for this guy. Can you imagine how he feels Good God. Unbelievable. This court is, well, an affliction. Okay, I'll stop. It really upset me. I mean,
I can tell.
Well, shouldn't it upset everybody?
Yeah. Tell you one thing, I'm gonna give up and pay that the camera.
Oh, you have a
red light camera ticket that I got in the mail 3 months ago that was addressed to either me or my husband.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was your car.
Yeah, but that's
doesn't
not
matter.
On the statute. You are not required to confess. So if they don't know who was driving the car, they cannot truly assess a penalty because they're asking for you to confess.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We got a call.
Oh, but now I'll pay it because,
We have a call. Because you
Hello?
don't want to... Yes, hello.
Yeah, I swear I'm not going to call every day, but this kind of connects to yesterday.
Okay, go, Clarence.
This is, again, about race.
This is about race?
It doesn't seem like it, but it is.
But this... Okay, the guy in this case was a black man.
Yes.
Driving, his wife was driving, but they were driving in a very nice BMW, and he was dressed in a suit and very attractive black man.
Yeah. Licensed to humiliate black guys.
Yeah. Oh, so this court, like I said, the stand your ground law is a license to kill black men. You say this court decision is a license to humiliate black men.
Yes.
Okay.
Or brown people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't have any probable cause, why do you need to do it?
Exactly. How can a court find that?
Yeah.
You don't need probable cause. They flat out say in the decision.
Look, I'm not one to always play the race card, but that's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening.
I think it's broader than that. I mean, I think it's anyone that authority wishes to exercise power over. It's equally,
yeah, but who do they
for the same reason?
Exactly. Who do they want to exercise power over the most?
Think about women, because this is an opportunity, right, to strip a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that same fear of a loss of power from white males. That's what it is.
Do you think for a minute that any one of these friggin' justices, Scalia or Robert, did they for 1 minute imagine themselves in that position?
No. What always gets me is how Clarence Thomas does it. I would love to, just shrink down to the size of a neuron and somehow get to that guy's brain. Right?
Well, you'll have to go. Yeah, listen, you'll have to go up his asshole to find it.
Can't figure him out.
No.
Yeah, because I was like, once again, I was like shocked. I wasn't going to say I was shocked and appalled. I was like, oh well.
I don't know.
Yeah, there we go.
This one just made me nuts.
I will jump all the way back to the 90s when all those people were voting for, what's his name? The guy, the seatbelt guy, for principal. The guy who wanted the seatbelt and Ralph Nader on principle. Dude, you got to look at the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that crap.
Well, don't get me started on them. I was screaming at it too. I'll never forgive the Nader voters for that for giving us George W.
I want to remind you every second, just in case somebody wants to vote, against Obama on principle. Look at the Supreme Court. Look at your freedoms and your liberties being dusted off.
And your health care being taken away and anything else that's going on, because George W. will go down in history for having given us the Iraq War, the Iraq War and that horror. He will also go down in history as giving us this outrage of a court. And believe me, historically, it will be viewed as such. There's going to be a lot of pullback.
I'm glad Obama jumped out front and basically said, this is an activist court.
Yeah.
Perfect timing, too, on that decision right there.
Exactly true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clarence.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Yes, you too.
Bye.
Goodbye. Oh. So I told Mom to go to the polls and vote for Santorum. I don't know if she's going to. I said, keep this going a little bit, Mom. Go, vote for him. She said, well, I don't think I'm a Democrat. I said, Mom, you live in Wisconsin. It doesn't matter what you are. Just go. And you
right. I mean, why would she go otherwise? To vote for whom?
Nothing. There's nothing on the other end. Although there will be a very big primary in I think a month in Wisconsin, and that's a Democratic primary, trying to figure out who's going to run against Walker in his recall.
Right.
So
let's put it this way: when he's recalled.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't get ahead of myself there either, because there's going to be more
positively.
There's going to be more money thrown into that than you can imagine. Already is, apparently. Also, just out of Wisconsin, so we get a flavor for what's going on primary day there. A Planned Parenthood clinic 30 miles from Green Bay there was an attempt to firebomb it. Yeah. Homemade bomb.
Yeah, in Appleton.
Yeah, fizzled. Dear God. But on a note for progressives to cheer, the Miss Universe pageant has allowed a transgender contestant back into the competition when they initially had told her she couldn't because you had to be a natural born.
Yes, but Donald, the owner of the pageant, decided he thought it would be good for business to have a
transgender
person on.
It was the Donald who decided to back up because he owns it, huh? He owns the Miss Universe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at a picture of her. She's very pretty, as so often men in drag are, although she's not a man in drag.
No.
Hard to get our heads around all of this, I know, but there it is.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She's actually, this has to do not with the Miss Universe pageant, but the Canadian Miss Universe pageant deciding who will represent Canada in the pageant, but it obviously has to operate under the same rules.
Right.
And
they were saying she couldn't compete.
Yeah, but she had retained Gloria Allred, and they were ready for a press conference, I guess. But now it appears they won't have to do it. Okay, one other item. This is local, Susan, but it's maddening, and I just do not know what the officials at the university are going to do. But the University of Pittsburgh has been plagued by bomb threats, and they're picking up now, so that there's as many as like 2 a day. Whole buildings have to be. And this morning at 4 a.m., one of the dormitories got one, and out everybody rousted out of their beds. Teachers are now saying it's impossible to teach. They're having contingency plans where if there's another threat, we'll meet on the lawn at so-and-so and continue our lessons. I think I might have lost count, but I think there's been 10 in the last few weeks, and the cops, the FBI, everybody's desperate. How do you get a handle on one jerk who is disrupting the lives of students?
Or a series of jerks.
They think it's one. I think that, but you're right. You can get the copycat stuff. Posting signs in bathrooms on campus, stuff like that. So one building, the two, and it's the administrative offices. That whole big cathedral of learning has been emptied 2 or 3 times. You drive through Oakland and you often see just huge bunches of people outside. How can one person how do you find a needle in a haystack like that? How do you possibly? I can't imagine.
Well, that's called police work.
Jeez. Well, I hope they find the SOB and draw and quarter him or her.
Well, this would be one of the reasons that police are monitoring cell phone communications and all that sort of stuff. another, invasion into your privacy.
Right,
but they
and
routinely, without court order or anything else,
that's
they
true.
just listen in.
And
so be aware.
And coming soon, I can't wait for this because this is going to be really weird. And coming soon, I was just looking out the window here, and I'm up on the 22nd floor, 21st floor. Drones.
Sure.
There'll be little, if I were to look outside and see like a little drone staring in the window at me, that could be anywhere from a police drone to anything. There's a private business can have these drones. Unbelievable. You are going to be being watched, looked at, probed from now until the end of days. It'll only get worse. It ain't going to get better.
Well, we've been, totally lulled into complacency by the fact that there are already cameras everywhere.
Right. Well, as you said, you got a parking ticket, or a speeding ticket.
No, it was actually for making a right turn on a red. I didn't see the sign.
That said you couldn't?
Yeah.
Well,
and having just confessed on the air, I guess I'll pay the ticket.
Well, you know what? I hadn't seen them before, but I was walking. I've been trying to walk and take public transit, so instead of jumping in the car, if it's like under a mile and a half, I'll walk if I don't have to schlep too many things back. So I was walking yesterday, and when you walk, you see more stuff. And that's when I saw, I was looking for cameras yesterday on my walk. My walk yesterday could have been recreated, if need be, by, law enforcement.
Right.
Maybe not when I was leaving my home. I don't know. Leaving my home and in that totally residential area. But as soon as I got onto a main street, there are cameras on there are cameras pointing down the street. And we don't have that law, Susan. We don't have a law where we're getting citations in the mail because there was a picture taken of our do we? I don't think so.
No, well, I'm not even talking. No.
These are cameras for looking.
They're just on street corners watching.
Right.
Businesses have them. Police use.
Yeah, but the police have
when
them.
When you're seeing surveillance, when someone is missing.
Right. Or a crime has been committed,
and tapes, and they pick them up at this point, and then suddenly they don't go in any direction from there.
Right.
They can pretty much tell where they disappeared.
Right, right. And I understand that, and for law enforcement, I think sometimes that's a great thing. But the fact of the matter is smile. You're on camera. You're on camera all the time.
Right. Don't pick your nose in an elevator, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but who was I talking to the other day? I was talking to somebody at a front desk, and I looked, and he had about 20 different camera, monitors in front of him. Not that I can't even remember where it was, but not that he was looking at any of them. Then I thought, yeah, no matter where you are, smile. Oh well. Hey, we should take a break. Oh, by the way, Susan.
Yes?
You did not fix my DVD player.
Why not? Turned on.
Yeah, but that is not quality repair work. Yes, it turned on. Did you attempt to watch a DVD?
No.
Right. Well, I have. It's not hooked somehow. It is not. I went back there and started unhooking and hooking and unhooking and hooking and seeing if there's something. No, will not play. It is no different than it ever was.
Well, then you need to have someone come in and hook it up.
Who do you have come in, and at what cost, to find some stupid thing you didn't do?
There are plenty of techie people out there that do exactly that. Where did you get the thing?
I don't remember.
If you got it from any store like that has B&B in its name, you call them and they send someone out.
Okay. Anyway, I have a sense that it's my son who caused the problem.
Well, it doesn't matter who caused the problem.
Yes, it does. Yes,
totally
it does.
normal people can't figure out that massive wires.
I think he unhooked something so he could hook one of his damn video game things in, right? This DVD thing, Mom watches that, screw that. And then stick something else in, and now it's all screwed up. That's what I think happened. And then when I asked him to fix the DVD player, he feigns stupidity when he's the perp. I know he's the perp. Should be strip searched immediately. Yes. Okay, we'll take a break.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the ballet, opera, city theater, science center, symphony, history museum, and the Carnegie Museums. bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's only online deal site where the deals don't expire. bergbargains.com.
Sewickley Med Spa is Pittsburgh's newest med spa, offering the latest in skincare treatments and medical-grade skincare products. Their providers have years of experience with aesthetic treatments and technologies such as Botox, Restylance, Juvederm, chemical peels, Retin-A, and spider vein treatments. They offer a discreet, personalized environment with only the best quality proven services and products. Call them today for a free consultation. 412-259-8628. The Sewickley Med Spa. 412-259-8628.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Yeah, welcome back. Jess's significant other just informed us that there's been another bomb threat at the Chevron building. That's the second one for that building. It's a science building at the University of Pittsburgh just now. That's now being evacuated.
Well, you know, when they catch this guy, they're going to lock him up for a good long time.
I hope they do. Lock him up and hang him out.
I mean, it's making terrorist threats. Whether you carry through or not, that's what this person is doing.
No, and he's now up to about 11 or 12 counts.
Right. I mean, he's going to get, or she's going to get locked up for a long, long time.
Going to jail. I hope they got a big kick out of it.
If this is some college kid thinking that he's playing a prank or she's playing a prank,
Unbelievable. So, Susan...
Yeah.
It wasn't too long ago that you and I were enjoying the quaint delight of Amsterdam.
That's true.
Well...
And general hilarity ensued.
Yes. Now, while we were there, we heard the disquieting news that, in fact, in all likelihood... if we were to go back this year, we would not be able to have quite as good a time.
Right.
Because a right-wing government has taken over in the Netherlands, and they want to shut down the coffee shops, as they're called, that allow you to enjoy a little bit of marijuana or hashish, as the case may be. And what they've done is, it looks like it's going to happen. They're going to let the Dutch continue to enjoy it, but you have to be a Dutch citizen, so that you and I would not be able to have done that. Some spokesman for...
So all you do is you ask a Dutch citizen to go in the coffee shop and get you something.
Yeah. Here's the weird thing about this. Do you know what caused the backlash? It had nothing to do with marijuana itself. It had to do with parking. It's so often the case. Apparently, in some of the southern cities where they had these, little coffee shops, it wouldn't be southern, maybe northern, whatever. Tourists or people from near the border, like Germany. These Germans had come in all the time and, take parking spaces, get their stuff, and then, leave. And that's what caused it. Lack of parking for Dutch people because for the locals. Yeah, so that's really what got things going, but then they found other reasons. The reality is, if you ask the cops in Amsterdam what causes trouble for you here, they'll say, we have problems with substance abuse, but almost all are related to alcohol. What's new about that?
Right.
They say they have no problem. And the cops in Amsterdam are worried about sending marijuana back out onto the streets, literally, because there'll be the crime accompanying it.
Yeah, well, it just doesn't make any sense. As long as it's still available, you just immediately set up a whole business for middle people to go in, get it legally, and then turn around and sell it to you.
Well, what there's going to have to be is, what they're saying is that the Dutch will have to, these coffee shops will be member only, and up to 2,000 members per shop, and you have to be Dutch. And so, yeah, if you really wanted some, you just hang around a coffee shop and ask somebody who's going in.
Right.
But they might be afraid to do it because maybe, they have cameras too. And they're trained on the coffee shops. I don't know. Says here that the more tolerant approach to marijuana in the Netherlands has, by all accounts, been successful. Despite the easy availability of marijuana, the Dutch are far less likely than Americans and than other Europeans to smoke pot. Which brings us back to the usual, which our sort of licentious, taboo-oriented culture just can't get through its thick Puritan skull, that when you demonize something and put something off limits and call it sinful and make it criminal, you end up advertising for it. If you leave it alone, treat it like it's no big deal, it doesn't have the allure. Ain't that true?
Right. Call it homeopathic medicine, and people will leave it alone in droves.
Yeah. Anyway, some people are arguing that the Netherlands can't afford to do this because they've got a budget deficit like everybody else, and they're going to lose tons of tourist dollars. Which is true.
They'll figure it out.
Dutch citizens are also allowed to grow up to as many as 5 marijuana plants for their own use, and that will remain the same. And while cruising on one of the lovely canals in Amsterdam, I couldn't help but notice one of the houseboats that was tied up on the canal had a lovely garden on its top that seemed comprised mostly of marijuana plants. Perfectly legal. Okay. Staying with the Dutch, if I may. The Dutch also are progressive in the area of euthanasia. And did you know Rick Santorum inserted himself? I mean, Rick Santorum. Jesus. Rick Santorum. Oh, Susan, by the way, I saw a picture of Rick and his lovely wife, Karen, today. I don't know where. And they were somewhere in Wisconsin. They were waving at people as they left. And they're both in jeans and looking casual and lovely. And they both are holding in their hands, clutching to their bosoms, as it were, iPads. Yes. iPads.
Are we trying to draw some general conclusion about me because I, like they, have an iPad?
No, it's merely noting. Rick Santorum, the Republican presidential candidate, created something of a stir in the Netherlands when he asserted that euthanasia accounted for 5% of all the deaths in the Netherlands. By the way, totally incorrect.
Of course, he just made that up.
He also asserted that many elderly Dutch people wore wristbands that said, "Do not euthanize me." Dutch government officials were quick to counter the claim. It's not true. Where do these people get this stuff? Where does Santorum, where do the Republicans get the so-called facts in the insane universe they inhabit? Where you just pick a number, any number. Hey, what percentage of the Dutch, shall we say, are killing themselves? 5? That doesn't sound too low. 5? Too high? 5. 5 sounds about right. Where do they come up with this?
I'm sure someone somewhere, with an axe to grind, a point of view, will write an article which then they quote without checking.
Yeah.
That's where they get it.
Mm. Here's the real number, 2%. So he doubled it and then some. Euthanasia is responsible for about 2% of all deaths annually, according to the people who actually do the counting. They're also trying to see if they can liberalize the law more so that anyone over the age of 70 can have access to euthanasia, whether they're sick or not. I think that's a little odd, don't you? I think if you're not,
it begins
if you're,
to be...
if you're not sick, and this is not about, if this is about some psychic,
then
whatever.
you can figure out how to commit suicide all by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You have the capacity to do it. You're not bedridden and unable to. Yeah, you go right ahead, but don't ask me to help you.
Yeah, don't ask
think.
anybody to collude.
Right. The government, especially. Right.
Right.
Right. I would think. All right. Do I have another break that I do have to take? Well, I know I just took one, but these are quickie. Suze, let me get one in, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
If your walls could talk, what would they say?
I have held the same mirror for 13 years.
I have been decorated with purple dinosaurs, baseball teams, and football helmets.
I have witnessed 33 Thanksgiving dinners and 1 wedding proposal.
I have tiny notches marking the growth of 3 children.
I have caused a learning disability.
I am the reason that a 5th grader simply can't sit still.
I am responsible for a 5-year-old's rage.
Just because you can't see lead paint doesn't mean it's not on walls, doors, windows, and sills. Today, lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children. If your home was built before 1978, your family could be at risk. Let's make all kids lead-free kids. Log on to leadfreekids.org or call 800-424-LEAD.
I am the reason a child has trouble hearing.
If your walls could talk, what would they say?
Brought to you by the Coalition to End Childhood Lead Poisoning, EPA, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Pittsburgh City Paper is available now. Pick up one today for Tigers Be Still, The Moody Blues, La Nueva Madonna, and News of the Weird. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Well, welcome back, Suze.
Thank you.
Ed writes, Rick and his wife obviously don't use their iPads to verify anything that they are saying. That's right. They have it right there. It's like the Encyclopedia Britannica and then some in their hands. And do they check? No. Well, so I haven't followed this thing. What? Sarah Palin hosted the Today Show today?
I'll tell you. This is their response to the fact that Katie Couric is filling in for Robin, whatever her name is, on Good Morning America while she's on vacation, which, by the way, is not making her enjoy her vacation a whole lot. Way to make your anchor look over her shoulder. Anyway, so the Today Show responds by putting Palin in their anchor seat for today. Which, believe me, made me, turn right over to Good Morning America. I wouldn't even.
Oh no! But I think, I think more people tune. I think it was a brilliant counter-programming move. You think they didn't check out? Is she doing it all week or just today?
Just today, and Matt Lauer was talking to her. She was flying to New York, and she was in Minneapolis. So he was querying whether there wasn't actually a direct flight to New York out of Alaska, and then he asked her what she's doing to spend her while she's in the airport, maybe reading a few newspapers.
This was not today then, because she was.
That was yesterday.
Oh, he did.
And she said, "Hey, cut it out."
She understood it was a ribbing
Jive.
her.
Yes, a joke.
However, I saw a tweet that said that Bristol Palin was given a segment on. This can't be true, right? Bristol Palin was given a segment on how to raise children as a teenage mother. Please tell me that's not true.
It could be true.
I know it could be true. Yes. I mean, the thing is when you get to the point where, yes, that could be true. I believe she has a book deal, doesn't she? When there's something she gets.
They're a professional reality show family. They'll do whatever they can to keep themselves in front of the cameras. It's how they make their living.
It's how they make their money. Surely that can't be true, though, right? Right? I don't know. Anyway, somebody tweeted that. And speaking of reality shows, did you see Dancing with the Stars last night?
Of course.
They're all so good. How the hell
this is just a ridiculous season.
Yeah.
I got a little fed up with all of the crying.
Oh, I know. They all had to dance for somebody in their life.
Even our guy worked up a few tears.
No, he did. He couldn't talk. Donald Driver, the Packer, could. He was.
Driver.
Yeah, but he was dancing for a dead.
Do you know how many Packer fans must be calling for them to make him finish the show?
Yeah. They're going to have to
That's
stop
an
because
indication of how many votes that man is getting.
Well, that was true with, I think, we like to call it Steeler Nation, which had a lot to do with Hines winning last year. But I can tell you...
Steeler Nation's a little bigger than Green Bay.
Well, but Green Bay Nation... Who ever heard of such a thing? I mean, there's Packer fans everywhere. You're not finding anything about Palin.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I just think it's funny.
Okay.
But, they're all really, really good.
Yeah. Oh, well. And I don't know. I was looking at one of the dresses that the woman was wearing. I was trying to figure out how it didn't fall off.
Oh, they're
little teeny.
Are glued. There's elastic everywhere. Half the time when you think she's naked, it's really an illusion leotard under there, and it's all one piece.
Or there's like a floss thing that you don't see holding one
there's
side.
Always
because one whole side of this one woman looked naked. I mean, it was just naked. You saw her like zip, so that's what she looks like, naked. And then somehow her dress was managing to stay. It made no sense, but right, it had to have been. God.
That was, I know the costume to which you are referring.
Yes.
And that was, in that case, that was one piece, but it was connected by, nude, like nylon. Mesh, clear.
Jeez, man. Well, okay. I have,
If you have if you have a body like that, it doesn't matter.
No, the bodies are amazing. Not to mention the bodies of some of those guys.
So, do you think that the Jewish Cuban guy is so sexy?
Yeah. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? You know what? When she tore his shirt off, women all over were like just passing out. They even superimposed a tweet or something that somebody tweeted, something about, he took his shirt off, I can die happy or whatever. I don't know what the hell it was. No, really, jeez, he's gorgeous. Who is he? What did he do? He
is a soap star, I think, in Telemundo.
Oh, is that what he is? He's a Telemundo star.
Yeah.
Well, he's
star.
about
and
to.
He and his family are from Cuba.
Yeah.
And
I saw
think he grew up there, and then they.
No, because you didn't listen to his story last night, Susan. I believe he was here at a relative. He was here 14 years ago, so he would. Well, I don't know.
He came over as a young teen.
He said he couldn't believe there were apples. He said he ate apples. He said, "My God, look at my uncle had a bowl in his kitchen just filled with apples." And he said, "I just kept eating them and eating them. I couldn't believe it." And then he couldn't believe the next morning when they gave him pancakes or something, and there was a pat of butter on them. He'd never seen a pat of butter. He thought it was ice cream. I don't know. Wow. So, I guess his father had been a dissident, and somehow Castro let him, after they just said, get the hell out of here, and then he was able to take his family. He got lucky.
Right.
Okay, wait a minute here. Ansel says, speaking for the male heterosexual population, Ansel writes, we would like to see more of Katherine Jenkins on Dancing with the Stars, if you know what I mean. Yes, I do. She's beautiful. And who the hell is she? Who are these people?
She is a British opera singer.
Well, she's just gorgeous.
Yeah, she's really gorgeous, and she has a beautiful voice.
Wow. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Okay. Well, I thought you saw quite a bit of her last night. Didn't she have a... Well, but, she's not used to singing opera naked. These dancing women are used to being relatively naked. Okay. So, Susan...
So, who do you think is the best?
I have no idea. I think maybe one of those women. Or, I don't know. Sometimes I think someone's not doing very good, and then they rave. Like, what's her name? Little House on the Prairie person?
Yeah.
Melissa Gilbert? Well, last night, I thought she seemed very sort of stiff. Her shoulders were up, and when she was doing certain turns, I thought, geez, you need to be lighter on your feet. You need to look. And they raved.
Right, I agreed. I thought, no.
So, go figure. For those of you who don't watch, the one who was summarily booted initially, and should have been, although I felt so sorry for her, Martina Navratilova.
Right.
And
she was the obvious choice.
Yeah, and is often the case, these female athletes, because there was the soccer player last season.
Right.
Gorgeous.
Who was just impossibly, gawky and ungraceful.
Right, because they're physically able, but it's a whole different kind of physicality.
And the muscles are used totally differently.
But so why isn't the same true then for Donald?
Because I think
Donald Driver or Heinz
players,
Ward?
Male athletes frequently. Don't you remember Edward Villela, who is head of the Miami Ballet now, but was this spectacular, gorgeous dancer,
right?
But he was a wrestler,
right?
And started dancing to improve his footwork. I mean, a boxer when he boxed.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. But so why?
And he left boxing and became this incredible dancer. I think football players too. They do all of this agility stuff. Has them much more in tune with their bodies. That, and I think they're very confident of themselves, and they are not afraid to take the coaching advice of the pro.
Okay, that might be true too. Here's the thing, though. But I think wide receivers are general. I mean, because we have both Driver and Ward are receivers. They tend to be sort of leaner and more graceful. I mean, you talk about them making balletic catches.
They leap.
And
they
stuff.
have to. They have to pivot. They have to change positions. They have to.
I mean, you ain't going to get a linebacker on Dancing with the Stars, are you?
Well, you've had a couple. They didn't do very well.
We did?
I don't. You didn't. No, I don't. I don't think you had a linebacker, but you had a couple brawnier kind of.
You know who would be? You know who
type.
they got to get when he's able is Troy Polamalu. He'd be good, and the women would swoon. But maybe there's something against letting one team have two guys. I don't know. So
I just think it's funny that clearly these football players get a kick out of doing it.
Well, yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, and they're very into it.
And they got agents who are smart who are saying, "Hey, this is a way to get yourself out there in a different
soon.
And Driver's old. I mean, he can't.
Right.
He's. I think he's older than Hines. I think he's 38. I might be wrong. I
thought he was 35.
Okay. Maybe he is. Whatever. So, blah, 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 blah. And who's a good dancer? And why are black women and this is going to sound, is this racist? Why are no, it's not.
37.
He's 37, Driver.
Okay.
Why are black women so much more comfortable
with their bodies and dancing?
Yeah, with their bodies. I wasn't even going to say dancing because you have two black women in the competition, both of whom have some weight on them. And they are light on their feet and they're sexy and beautiful. And I'm thinking, if I had that body, I wouldn't feel sexy. They feel sexy.
Yep.
And they are. Well, what is wrong with white women? What's wrong with us?
Well, part of what's wrong with us is that we have the whole world telling us what we're supposed to look like, and it's a physical impossibility.
Yeah, but black women live in the same general culture.
Black women are given a cultural pass.
What do you mean they're given a pass?
Their community says we don't like that look.
Oh, they're given a pass by black men. No? Or their culture what? I don't know. But geez. Because white women are so effed up.
Yep.
And I don't see that with black women. Stop and think about black women, too, who can do something. Not only do they carry themselves better in general, they feel better about themselves. You can see it. They feel sexual, even if they're carrying way more weight than they're supposed to. And you know what else they do that white women won't do? They wear hats.
I wear hats.
Not like they wear hats. I love their hats. I love the sense of style, and I'm wearing a hat. And they look, I would feel so like, oh God, I'm wearing a hat. Don't look at me. I love those hats. I mean, they're amazing. I think black women are absolutely amazing.
I just want to go on record as saying I wore a hat to my friend's wedding.
Good for you, Suze.
And it was out in the sunshine, and I was right to do it, and I was the only woman there that had a hat on. And I was thinking, well, what is so wrong with all of you?
No. And did the poor person sitting behind you say, excuse me, would you remove your hat? I cannot see the bride.
No, for other reasons, but no need. But it was a great big hat, I will admit.
And you cleared people out on both sides of you and stuff. No, but if you wear a hat, the minute if you're white, you put that hat on, you're going to be A lot of people are going to be saying, "What's she wearing that hat for?" Or, "God, I wish she was wearing a hat." Because it's not generally done. Around here, they have this thing called a hat luncheon every year where all the white ladies wear hats. But that's the only time they wear hats. Unless maybe Sunday. Do they still do in your Easter bonnet?
Sort of.
Do they? Southern women do, Jess says, but I don't know around here. In your Easter bonnet, with all the frills upon it, you'll be the something lady in the Easter parade. Is that another Irving Berlin?
It's got to be an Irving Berlin. He wrote all the great Christian songs.
He wrote all the great Easter and Christmas songs.
Right. White Christmas and...
White Christmas is a great song, yeah. Yeah, well, it took a Jew. It took somebody who didn't even believe in Christmas to write that song. I'm dreaming.
Far be it from me to stop your mellifluous tones. It's 10:01.
All right. Go. Be gone with you. Goodbye, Suze. Oh, the fringe upon... No, not fringe. You know what song was in my head the other day that I couldn't get out? It's when I walked into the shower. And now I can't think of it. Bicycle Built for Two. Oh. Daisy, give me your answer. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage. But you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. This is going through my head the whole time I'm lathering my hair. Bicycle built for two. Where does that come from? When they come out of nowhere, I swear, I tried to think. And Diane, you will have the last word today. Diane writes, Lynn, I don't think black women who are a little heavier are shunned by black men. They appreciate a little more junk.
In the trunk.
Junk in the trunk? I think men do in general. Yeah. So why do we get all uptight when we got some junk in the trunk? I don't know. Come on, white ladies. Suck it up! You look at your black sisters and take it. They are incredible role models. Incredible role models. And while you're at it, buy a hat. In your Easter bonnet. Okay, tomorrow, Potter.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.